Rishi Sunak axes A-Levels and bans smoking in major fightback speech as he officially scraps HS2's Manchester leg. Rishi Sunak axed the Manchester leg of HS2, announced a ban on youngsters smoking and scrapped A-Levels as he vowed to be Britain's most radical PM ever in a megatory conference speech. The defiant PM was in fight mode as he announced a smorgasbord of policies designed to give the country what it so sorely needs and yet too often has been denied. He declared once and for all that Britain is not a racist state. And he hit out at woke extremists who think that biological women can have a penis. "My story is a British story," the PM proudly told a cheering crowd. "It's a story about how a family can go from arriving here with little to Downing Street in 3 generations." After weeks of speculation, on the final day of Tory conference the PM confirmed the Manchester leg of HS2 will be banned. Its £36 billion price tag will be invested in Network North, funding the development and upgrade of hundreds upon hundreds of new projects, large and small, road and rail, bus and train. Billions will be pumped into connecting 50 different stations across the North and Midlands, including Manchester and Liverpool. And upgrades will be carried out across Britain's highway network, including the dualling of the A1. HS2 is still expected to cut journey times between London, Birmingham, and Manchester, but only by 30 minutes. Staring down critics, Mr. Sunak insisted it's right to have the coverage to change direction. HS2 is the ultimate example of the old consensus, he boomed. The result is a project whose costs have more than doubled, which has been repeatedly delayed and is not scheduled to reach here in Manchester for almost 2 decades. The economic case has massively weakened with the changes to business travel post-COVID. Alongside upgrading northern transport infrastructure, at Euston a new development zone will be created, where thousands of new homes will be built for the next generation of homeowners' new business opportunities. Away from HS2, Mr. Sunak pledged to put the next generation first as he announced intentions to ban youngsters from smoking and reform A-Levels. Under new laws, a 14-year-old today will never be able to legally purchase fags. The PM said smoking costs the country an eye-watering £17 billion a year. He said his decision will save more lives than any other the Conservative Party could make. And he pledged to make it more difficult for children to get their hands on vapes. Outlawing fags will be a free vote for all MPs, but is likely to pass in the Commons regardless. Under major education reforms, A-Levels will be ripped up and students will be forced to study maths, English, and a range of other subjects until 18. Rip off university degrees that saddle students with crippling debt for not enough benefits also faces the scrap. On the NHS, the PM turned his attention to striking BMA doctors. In a blistering rebuke, he railed, "They continue to demand massive unaffordable pay rises and that they have chosen to walk out this week says it all. This strike is about politics, not patience." On the economy, the PM promised that he will deliver tax cuts, but didn't specify when. He said inflation has to come down further first. "I know you want tax cuts, I want them too, and we will deliver them. But the best tax cut we can give people right now is to have inflation and ease the cost of living." Turning his attention to Labour, the PM launched a stinging attack on Sir Keir Starmer, calling him a walking definition of the 30-year political status quo. Mr. Sunak warns Sir Keir is desperate to drag Britain back under Brussels rule. And he argued Labour hates Brexit and doesn't believe in Westminster taking back control. "The irony isn't lost on me," Mr. Sunak said. "While we're busy thinking about the future of the United Kingdom, Keir Starmer is just banging on about Europe." Standing tall against woke bullies, the PM promised to never cave to extremist trans activists. He refused to give in to woke ideologues forcing people to believe that a woman can have a penis. And he said school teachers should be made to tell parents if their kids are thinking of changing gender. It shouldn't be controversial for parents to know what their children are being taught in school about relationships, he demanded. Patients should know when hospitals are talking about men or women, and we shouldn't get bullied into believing that people can be any sex they want to be. They can't. A man is a man and a woman is a woman. That's just common sense. It was before the PM took to the stage that the first rabbit came out of his hat. His wife, Akshata Murthy, surprised conference by delivering a personal and impassioned hype speech. Ms. Murthy, donning a pink power suit, described how she fell in love with the PM and how years of doing long distance were difficult. What drew me to him most was his strength of character, honesty, his integrity, with a firm understanding of right from wrong, she said. He's fun, he's thoughtful, he's compassionate, and he has an incredible zest for life. Ending his speech, the PM promised to be bold and radical. As activists took to their feet, he said, "We will be bold, we will be radical, we will face resistance, and we will meet it. We will give the country what it so sorely needs and yet too often has been denied, a government prepared to make long-term decisions so that we can build a brighter future for everyone. Be in no doubt. It is time for a change and we are it." Responding to the PM's speech, Pat McFadden MP, Labour's national campaign coordinator, said. After 13 years and 5 Tory prime ministers, Rishi Sunak's latest desperate attempt to reset his weak leadership and divided government won't fool the British public, who are looking at Tory failures all around them. The Tories have let Britain down for too long. They cannot be the change from their own failures. The damage they would do with 5 more years would be intolerable for working people.